Right, we should be live. Right, guys, welcome to another TRB testimonial. This evening, I'm joined by Luke Stevens, who's just had a remarkable transformation over the past 12 weeks. And he's going to give me about 10, 15 minutes of his time to talk through his journey, talk through his breakthroughs, what we did that was different to what he tried in the past, to hopefully inspire anybody who's going through similar situations. Just a heads up, I've got a bit of man flu, so if I sound a bit weird, that's why. So, Luke, do you want to give a quick introduction, a little bit about you, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, hi there. It's been a bit of a journey for the last 12, 13 weeks, thanks to Chris. Kind of a little bit apprehensive to start with, overweight, lived out of petrol station, convenience foods, kind of usual, without going into too much detail of the program, basically changed the way that we look at things. Lost an impressive 27 pounds in weight over the past sort of 12, 13 weeks. Feel a lot better, healthier about things. Initially, I guess the problem was stress. Run two of my own businesses, lots of customers demanding this, that, always people to report to. Got 5 members of staff that are always asking questions, and so quite a lot going on. Got a young family at home, little boys, 20 months old, so that's like hard work at the same time, early starts. Just basically life was a bit messy, I guess. Wouldn't say off the rails by any means, but it was easier to have a pint of beer to take your mind off of things, or several pints of beer on occasions, to numb what I thought was the pain. Whereas now, kind of Monday morning, I'm excited to go to work again. So yeah, huge transformation.
And I think, if my mind serves me right, it took a long time before we started working together, didn't it? Can you remember or not?
Yeah, I kind of messaged him months ago, and then it's like, "How you doing?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm fine. I'm off to the pub," or like, "Yeah, I'm fine." Like deep down, I probably wasn't fine.
Yeah.
But you were busy. I was a busy fool.
Mm.
So part of the things of learning as we've gone on in the last 12 weeks, I suppose.
So, what is your mindset in that moment? Because there's a lot of guys in the same situation. Yeah, I'm fine. Yeah, just plodding
Yeah, I'll do it
along.
next week. I'll do it next week. It'll be fine.
Yeah,
Another bottle of wine with a missus tonight, and I'll feel fine. And you feel fine that night. You go to bed and you get up in the morning, and you're probably a little bit further behind than you were when you went home, and you probably feel 70% of what you're capable of feeling. And then the next night, you probably have like another glass of wine, or the boys are going to the pub. I'll go to the boys, on the way home. I'll just have a couple with the boys. And then before you know it, then it's the weekend. So what do you do at the weekend? You need like a few more beers to wind down. And then before you know it, you've had 10 or 15 pints in a week, and you go to work on Monday, and you ain't really fit to turn up in the state that you should be turning up.
yeah, and it's an uphill battle from that point
Yeah,
forward.
it's kind of a vicious circle. Like I had a bit of a lapse in the program sort of thing over Christmas. Not a lapse, but like went back to eating crap in the mornings, having like fry ups, gorging ourselves with stuff at Christmas, of like chocolates, cheese boards, port, wine, champagne, like
As we
as
do.
you do. But it's all right. But then we got back on the program. So um yeah, it it's surprising how well you feel after doing it. And then it's kind of nice for me to go back a little bit to feeling groggy
Mm.
and not feeling 100% on the case to be doing this.
Just to reaffirm that, right, this is definitely the path I'm going to go down moving
Yeah,
forward.
exactly.
Yeah.
So it was, at the time, I was like, no, I'm going to leave it till January. What we'll do is we'll get this, we'll get involved with the Christmas parties in December, and we'll sack Chris off, and I'll talk to him in January. But that was from like July, then August, then September, and then before you know it, it was like coming up. And then in the end, I was just like, nah, let's just get this done.
Yeah.
And it's life changing. It is, and it's not. I'm not saying it's easy, but it ain't difficult.
So
So
before we get onto the program, can you talk about what you tried previously to what we did together?
yeah, I think one of the favourite things I said to you was trying to eat 5 kilos of broccoli for your dinner was
Yeah.
one of the things, and the gym 3 times a week. Like I had a personal trainer, lovely lad. Won't mention names and that in case he sees us, whatever.
Yeah.
Absolutely awesome. but it just weren't fitting in with my lifestyle and having a family, having a little, and having to be in a gym this time. Like I work crazy hours, and the hours aren't set in stone. So to try and book someone as a PT was nigh on impossible.
Yeah.
But your program um, was much more flexible to fit in with a self-employed or a person who works for themselves.
Yeah.
Um, and it still is, as busy as I am, as crazy hours we do with another nipper on the way, it's still sustainable.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing. Whereas everything I tried before was like a 6-week fad. And giving up everything, like you can get up in the morning and you got to have like two dozen eggs and 4 portions of chicken breast, and that. It's like, hang on a minute.
Yeah. You're not a
Um,
bodybuilder trying to get on stage, are you?
no, and I didn't want to have. I didn't want to be ripped and thing. Like the missus had said, now I know you've lost all that weight. Can you like bulk your shoulders up and about? I was like, oh, here we go. But that's perhaps something for the future. But for the start of the thing, really, and it was about losing the weight and being healthier, but it was more the psychological, mental side of things for me. That was the biggest, and that's the biggest mindset I've got out of it. And realistically, if I'm honest, I haven't given anything up.
Mm.
I've moderated everything, and I've changed the way I look at things, and I've changed the way I deal with things. But again, that's something that you teach people in the program.
Mm. So how would you, it's more like in a holistic approach, isn't it? We build it from the ground up. It's not like a one size fits
Yeah,
all.
so it's a steady start. So on each week, obviously, you have your meeting with yourself. Um, and as it goes on, it gets more demanding, and you're required to do a bit more. But nothing's unachievable. Like realistically, if you can't spare an hour a week to speak to you and another hour to an hour and a half to do a few exercises and watch a few videos that you send, if you can't spend 2.5 hours a week for yourself, you have got some serious problems.
Mm.
Like life balance, work balance, things. If you can't spare a couple of hours a week to sort your life out, and it does sort your life out, it changes the way you think about things, you organize things, your whole outlook and everything.
What do you
I
think
feel like 10 years younger now than when I started it.
you look at as well?
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
What do you think is the main problem for guys who say, "Oh, I haven't got time for it. Like, I haven't got 2 hours." Let's say, I think it's a system problem, a mindset problem, or is it the
It's a
phone?
priority.
Oh,
You're not you're prioritizing everything wrong.
yeah.
Like it took me a bit of a blip and I won't go into details, but an incident that brought it to my attention that really I working all the hours in the world was just sacrificing my marriage, my relationship with my little boy, and really my business has never been in such a better position now because I'm in a better mental health state. I'm physically fitter. I'm mentally fitter. I don't turn to a bottle of wine or a glass of wine because I've had a stressful day or an argument with a customer. I go home and I work it out, and then I'm on the ball at 7:45 in the morning, ready to talk to them and sort it out.
Mm. So, like, I think it was a few weeks in, your missus, because what you've tried in the past, she was like a bit
Yeah,
anxious. Like, can he
yeah,
actually keep it up this time? Like, I've seen
this
him do
won't
this.
last. This won't last. Blah blah blah. But like, I'm still out on my bike now, still doing my exercise, still doing my other tasks that are set by yourself, sort of thing. Again, I won't go into too much details and things of it, but yeah, it's been a hell of a journey. But I just yeah, I'm super grateful,
And it feels sustainable this time around.
100%. And I know when I go off track a little bit, because it's like been an occasion, like birthday party we went to last month, and it's a bit of a sesh at the weekend or whatever. Now exactly what you got to do to get back on track and get that mind focused.
Mm. And just to confirm, there's no diet plans in this. It's more education and then actually solving the root causes of
Yeah,
your health
exactly.
issues.
Yeah, if I'm honest, looking back now, it's pretty kind of common sense, sort of straightforward thing. You just need to be taught the way to do it.
Yeah.
You don't
It's
have to have milkshakes every morning and live off of like absolute rabbit food for the rest of your life. You can still like I still have a takeaway once a week, probably maybe twice a week. Some weeks I might not have one at all. I have a Sunday roast or a roast dinner every Sunday. I still drink alcohol. I still have chocolate, I still have cheese, but I do it all in moderation. You know, I don't have 3 bottles of wine, 4 bars of chocolate, and a whole cheese board and a roast dinner.
Yeah.
You know,
That's where people struggle. But it's like all or nothing. But
yeah, but
what
this
we're
isn't.
aiming
This is
for,
sustainable,
yeah,
sustainable way of living normally.
yeah,
But
which
it educates you to do it. See, like if someone told me that you can't have breakfast or you can have breakfast, like at one point when I was doing my PT thing, I used to get up in the morning, have like 4 rations of bacon, a load of broccoli, load of chicken, and like 4 or 5 scrambled eggs. Or I could barely move for the rest of the day. Time I've eaten that.
yeah,
Whereas this is a different outlook and a different way of going about it. But you also learn about what you're doing at the same time.
mm.
There's so
No,
many things I could mention, but I don't really want to give
all
all the tips away.
the secret sauce.
The secrets ones, yeah, that's up to them to speak to you about.
So remember that quote that you said, you can't live your life with a constant hangover. That's
Can't
something
live life with a constant hangover.
a lot of business owners can relate. Man,
I know a lot of business owners even now that probably do drink most nights of their lives.
mm,
I don't anymore. I didn't all the time, but I probably drank more than I needed to. With the effect that now I've got so much more energy, sleep better, I make better business decisions. The business is in the best position it's ever been in, even with a recession coming. You know, everything's good.
the difference between alcohol is like an escape for stress versus just drinking moderately with your missus or your friends. Like that's the
Yeah,
key.
exactly. It's rather than using it as an escape because of the stress and basically, if you're stressed and you're drinking, you're going to make it worse.
Mm.
Your stress is going to get deeper. You know, um, so like if I'm stressed now, I was stressed. I think a few weeks into it, I was super stressed. Just put the nipper down. I'd loads of pressures, things and that on. Jumped on my bike, done 40 minutes on my push bike, came back. I was like brand new. Absolutely, all the stress and that had gone. Been a lot easier to go to the fridge and grab a beer, but I wouldn't have felt the same effect from it.
Mm. And then as a result, as you said, you're having a record time in business. You're back
Everything's flying. Everything's great. Moved into our dream house. Got a
to your
new little
house.
one on the way. Wife's happy most of the time.
Every box is ticked.
Well, getting down the list. Yeah, we're getting there. I still want to improve on my fitness a bit. Um, but yeah, I'm looking forward to getting back in a race car this year with quite a bit. Like we're 2 stone lighter now. So
Yeah. Cool fact about Luke, you beat Lewis Hamilton back in the day.
yeah, I did. So if
Remember
you're
when-
watching this, Lewis, I'm coming for you.
He's coming back. The comeback.
Yeah, I might be a bit old now, but I'm coming back.
Right, let's conclude this with like if somebody's sitting on the fence right now, similar struggles as you, drinking too much, in a bit of a rut, but they think, I can just do this on my own. What would your advice be to that man?
Do it. Don't keep putting it off. The longer you put it off, the harder it becomes to do it. And this simply has changed my life for the better. And I'm very grateful. Thank you, Chris. And I'm not just saying that because he's sat in front of me. I tell it to anyone I speak to. It has transformed my life. Best thing I've ever done.
And what is that? What's the one biggest shift that you're taken away from the 12 weeks?
Probably the mental control of A, being calmer, B, there's just so many positive. Basically, there isn't just one positive because the one positive is you don't drink as much because you don't feel you need to because you're more positive about life. So then you're more positive about turning up at work. You're more present in what you're doing. Your missus is happier because you're coming home and you're not exhausted and crashing out on the sofa.
Mm.
Your nipper's happier at the weekend because you've got energy to run around with him. It's just like a win-win situation.
Mm.
It really is. Can't recommend it highly enough.
And fellas, it all starts with you. You're the most important piece to the
Yeah,
puzzle.
there's no point asking your mate who's down the pub, "Oh, I'll have a soft drink tonight," because it won't last. You need to just get on the case and get it sorted.
Awesome. Right. Let's leave it there, mate. Appreciate your time.
No problem at all.
And,
Wish you all the best.
All right. Thanks for tuning in, everybody, and we'll see you in the next one.